Alright, so time for yet another one of these quick reviews where I'm just walking around out here at night, share my thoughts on a film that I recently saw. Tonight, I'm talking about the Dario Argento movie, Dark Glasses, which I happened to see in the theater. Now, obviously you don't need me to tell you that this film had an extremely complicated production history. The first time I heard about it was all the way back in, I believe, 2020, when the working title for the film was Black Glasses, which I think is kind of a cooler name, but, you know, obviously more racial tension, so I can see why Dario didn't go with that. The other really interesting bit of trivia with this movie is, of course, that it was going to be the last movie with a score by Daft Punk, but obviously they broke up before it came out, so I can only assume that in the weeks ahead people are going to try to uncover this lost Daft Punk score and figure out what it would have sounded like. I mean, I can only imagine it would have been probably one of the most epic movie scores. Got a master of cinema like Dario Argento and just masters of music like Daft Punk, so that is a shame that they weren't on the score. But I think the music in the movie is really pretty good and very indicative of giallo, and a really nice score. There's some nice strings, some very Italian sounding bits, and for a fan of giallo like myself, in fact, I'd say giallo is one of my favorite horror subgenres, hands down. It really fills in. The effects and character work in this film are fantastic, particularly the sequence with the snakes. The opening shot with the eclipse is very good at building tension and kind of setting a thematic tone for the movie to come. And the car chase is excellent. I like how the movie showed that Italians drive on the right side of the road and the driver's seat is on the left side, which is the way it is here in America. And if it was like how it is in Britain, where everyone drives on the left side of the road and the driver's seat is on the right side, I wouldn't be able to take it seriously, because that's a goofy way to drive. But it looks like Italy has normal streets like we do here in America. So that was an intense car chase that really upped the tension and got me on the edge of my seat. So props to Dario Argento for that fantastic car chase. Backlash against this film was incredibly predictable. The minute I heard there was going to be a new Dario Argento movie, I knew everyone was going to be like, oh, Dario Argento makes crap these days. Oh, it's too predictable. Oh, it's too formulaic. Why is Dario Argento making giallo? I want Dario Argento to make a romantic comedy. And it's like, no, he's going to make a predictable, formulaic giallo movie, but it's going to be epic because he's the fucking master of giallo. Seriously. We take for granted the fact that Dario Argento is still alive. It's like if Alfred Hitchcock was still alive and still putting out bangers. It's like if George A. Romero was still alive. The guy is a master of horror. But I guess this is what happens when we treat people like Jordan Peele as if they're masters of horror without giving Dario Argento the credit he deserves. Clearly we're living in a post-Shaun of the Dead world where people are like, Edgar Wright is so funny. Edgar Wright. Oh, Shaun of the Dead is a great zombie movie and a great comedy. Oh, Hot Fuzz is a great cop movie and a great comedy. Watch some Dario Argento, you writhing little cinema maggots. Really great opening scene with the eclipse and the dark glasses and like the foreboding presence. You just feel like something malignant is here. Also, like I said, the shot with the snakes is incredible. From what I see, there was a snake wrangler. Those things weren't CGI. They were actual water snakes, just, you know, swimming around, biting people. Oh, man. I commend that. That is fantastic snake wrangling right there. Anywho, this film is really interesting. The acting is on point. You got Asia Argento, Dario Argento's daughter, as the therapist. You got the Asian kid who's just a fantastic actor. I completely bought this kid's performance. And then you have the main character, the prostitute. Now, this movie obviously has a lot to say about the current state of the prostitution industry in Italy, which is a very fascinating topic, and it's nice to see Dario Argento tackle something interesting. One thing I will say is that the villain in Dark Glasses doesn't really have the motivation or foreboding atmosphere of the masked killers in works like Deep Red, Tenebrae, or Opera. And that's mainly because he's just kind of a guy, and his only motive is that the main prostitute of the film, I forget her name, I think it's Julia or something, she says that he smells, which he works at like a dog farm, so it makes sense that he'd smell. He shouldn't really be offended by that. Like, you know, you work next to stinky dogs all day, you're not gonna be like the freshest smelling guy. And she even tells him, like, hey, you can take a free shower here in my prostitution palace, and then we can do it. But he's like, no, fuck that, I'm not gonna pay you, and I'm not gonna take a shower. And he just waits around for like an hour, and she just waits there. It's really weird. Like, you know, he should have just left, but he's really offended by it, and then he just stalks her the rest of the movie, which I think is a pretty weak motive and doesn't really make any sense. Like, everyone to say the guy stinks. He works next to dogs all day, and they're pissing and shitting, and like, yeah, no shit, this guy isn't going to smell the best. But she even offered, you know, I'll do it with you, just take a shower first. Take a free shower, you know? That's nice. The main character is an extremely strong female protagonist, but not a shitty one like Captain Marvel. This is actually an example of a really great, strong female protagonist who makes her own decisions, looks out for herself, all the while being blind. I mean, isn't that just a fantastic story right there? Some of the blood effects are pretty goofy, like the first prostitute that gets killed. She just gushes open like a water balloon. It's like she has some kind of blood condition that prevents clotting or something, because I swear her neck just like opens and it's like she was just full of like Kool-Aid. It's pretty wacky. The ending shot where the guy gets bitten open by the dog and, you know, his neck gets bitten open, there the flesh actually looks really realistic, and it's like tough and meaty and kind of thick, whereas the prostitute in the opening scene, like, her neck is just like full of juice, and it's like, how do these two necks operate so differently? You know, get your kind of internal anatomy straight, because a neck would not really like just completely empty an entire person, you know. It'd be like a couple minutes before it like clotted up and kind of got a little drippy. It wouldn't just like sploosh, you know? I mean, if that was the case, everyone who ever got a nick from shaving would like just be dead. Originally, I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to see this movie because I thought it was only going to be on that shitty horror streaming service Shudder. Now, from what I hear, it did get a really big theatrical release in Italy, and that's fine, you know. It is Dario Argento's home country, and I think Italy does deserve some just national releases that it can kind of call its own without the Americans glomming onto it. Luckily, I was able to catch it on the big screen because there's a movie theater near where I live that just happens to show like the best shit, so I was able to catch this. I mean, you know, the prosthetics in this aren't like David Cronenberg levels or anything, but they really don't need to be. It's not a body horror film, it's a suspense film, and I think in that aspect it nails it pretty well. A lot of the sets in this are just fantastic. The streets of Rome look so great, the cars look so great, every interior shot of the hotel, the cinematography is on point, which is exactly what you would expect from a Dario Argento film. And of course, the scene at the abandoned energy outpost or whatever it is in the middle of the forest is just such a compelling set. And I think that's like a real place, you know. Dario Argento is just like, this place needs to be in the movie because it looks great. It's really isolated, it's really out of the way, everything in there's covered in shit, you know, because it's just been sitting there for like years, and it's so indicative of Italy. Like, holy shit, does Dario Argento know how to make a movie that is visually striking or what? That set is just, genius, just absolute genius from the master of suspense. Yeah, he's the master of suspense now that Hitchcock's dead, deal with it. Anyway, I haven't seen, you know, Mother of Tears or any of the stuff he made in like the 2000s, but Dark Glasses, I mean, it's flippin' good, come on. If Giallo and Mother of Tears really are as bad as everyone says they are, then this has got to be a return to form. And anyone who says, oh, well, Dario Argento isn't good anymore, you have no fucking idea what you're talking about. This is leagues ahead of that new Suspiria remake. which I saw in theaters, and I thought it was okay. I thought it was like, all right, new Suspiria, all right. But the more time goes on, same with like Uncut Gems, I'm just like, what the fuck was I thinking? The new Suspiria is nowhere near as good as an actual Dario Argento movie could possibly be, and the fact that some people say that the new Suspiria is better than the original, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dario Argento just gets relentlessly shit on, and I have no idea why, because like Dark Glasses is so good. I would definitely recommend this movie, especially if for whatever reason you have a subscription to that dumb streaming service, Shudder, or whatever it's called. I saw this in the big screen because I respect cinema, and when I want to watch a movie, I watch it on the big screen instead of on my TV, which my TV can't even get an internet connection, so buying Netflix for it would be pretty damn goofy considering it's a CRT. All it can get is a TV connection via rabbit ears. But that's Dark Glasses for you. Just a really great movie. Every sequence is extremely well shot. And props to the main actress. I forget her name, but she's just really good. And I can see nothing but a long career ahead in Italian cinema for her. Giallo is an extremely respectable subgenre. I even tried to make a Giallo comic once. Didn't exactly pan out, but I might try it again someday. Giallo's the shit. And Dario Argento's the shit. He's a director who knows his shit, and to think that people are like, Jordan Peele is so great, the new Nope movie is a masterpiece. It's like, no, Jordan Peele's a hack. Used to make fucking stupid crap comedy sketches on Comedy Central. He's not Dario Argento, get over yourself. Jordan Peele can screw out. Anyway, that's another quick review. Dark Glasses, just... What a film, blindness. Oh, so many themes to it, so deep, so great. Just a gosh dang treat for any horror fans out there. So check this one out. I give Dark Glasses like a 9 out of 10. Some good stuff. Yeah, that'll do it for this one.